Hi, everybody. I just wanted to come on and do a little short video on my little spooky design here. It's called the Ghostmobile. So you can see how it really sparkles. I wanted to give a big shout out to DecoArt Americana for these awesome galaxy glitters. So this is what I topped my painting with when I was finished, and it's super cool. It just really adds some nice sparkle and a little bit of bling and a little more magic to it. So this one is called Black Hole, but they come in all kinds of colors. But needless to say that I did use this. I'll hold it up again. I used it on my spooky little ghost on his cape. I'm sort of looking at this backwards, so bear with me. This way, right there. So you can see it shine. They also have one that's called Solar Flare Orange, and I put some of that onto the moon and the pumpkin. So super fun. And so I am actually teaching this class. It's coming up soon. It's going to be live on Zoom. You can register on my website. It's simply-cotton.com, and it's under Zoom classes. So this one is going to be October 15th, and it starts at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So what I'm going to do right now is just show you how to prepare your background, because I've got some people registered already. And when you register, you get the in-class notes, great colored photos, step-by-step instructions, and the pattern. So, but I did have a couple people ask me about doing a little short background video. So bear with me for a sec. I'm going to change cameras, and we'll start in a sec here. Okay, so here's my piece. I'm just going to adjust my lighting here. I've got a couple overhead lights. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. Let me just play with this. Okay, so here's my original design, the Ghostmobile. And just so you can see under the light, these are the galaxy glitters. So they are by DecoArt Americana, and they just really finished the painting off nice. So just to get started on my background, this is on a 9x12 canvas, but you can paint it on any surface of choice. And what I've gone ahead and done, and again, this is all in the notes, but I've just added a suggested horizon line. And I know I'm working on white, so sometimes it's a little funny under the light until I start to get some paint on. But just basically, I'm going to paint sort of the sky first. And you just see I've really kind of streaked through my colors, but I try to keep it a little bit lighter, sort of in behind the vehicle. And it gets maybe a little darker, a little more purple and stuff as you move up. And then when we do the ground, I keep the ground quite a bit darker, not as many light colors in there. So I'm just going to use, I've got a nice big 1-inch brush. This is by Royal Brush. I'm going to get some paper towel going here. So I've just put on a little chalk pencil line. This is 3 1/4 inches up from the bottom of my canvas. And I'm just going to streak through my colors. So I'll just wet my brush. You could use extenders and stuff if you wanted to. I just like to use a little bit of water when I'm working on small canvas and just kind of loosely pull my paint across. So I'm just picking up a light gray to start. And I actually just stood up because I find it a little bit easier. This is a long handled brush, so I can hold it up a little bit higher, be a little bit looser. So I'm just going to kind of randomly streak this through. And then I'll just pinch wipe my brush. So I'm going to use a dirty brush, but just pinch wipe it. And then I'm going to go back and I've just picked up a little bit of white. I'm just going to streak that over top of my gray just to lighten it a little bit. Get this on the best you can, but I mean, when it's all said and done, if you like it, but you think, oh, you know, I wish it was a little bit brighter, you can always go back and streak through a little more color. So I'll just pinch wipe my brush. I'm going to pick up a little bit of black. I'm going to start a little bit of black from the top down. So I'm still using a dirty brush. Maybe just a tiny little bit of water in my brush just to get my paint to move. Maybe just a little more black. You can always go back at any time and pick up any of these colors and add a little bit more. So we'll see. I'm going to try a little bit of purple in here amongst my black, just to make it look nice and airy. So I think if this goes on a little streaky can be good. Just a sky, you want to create some movement. Now I'm going to clean out my brush, get rid of that purple. And while my paint's still wet, I'm going to pick up a little bit of this green. So I've got just a really nice bright green. And blend that through. You can put in as much green as you like, as much purple. So I'm liking it. I feel like maybe I could use just a tiny little bit more black streak through. So I tapped out my brush and I'm picking up just a little bit of black now. So get it on the best you can. I think that looks really nice and spooky. So I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to clean out my brush and I'll show you how to paint the ground. So I'm going to paint really the ground in the same fashion, but I'm just going to keep it a little bit darker. So I won't bother probably picking up any white when I start. I can maybe just start with a little bit of gray. And then I'm going to work into some black. We do lose a lot of this once we get our pumpkins and the limo on and everything else. So it doesn't have to be totally perfect. I actually do at the end, I dry brush in some more colors and sort of I try to suggest a little bit of fog and mist around the pumpkins. So there's lots of stages. Bring in a little bit of purple. And then I'll clean out my brush. Pick up a little bit of this green. So when in the notes, there are some really good colored photos, even of the background finish, but I can never paint it the exact same. But that's okay, because you just want one of a kind. So I'm liking it. I feel like maybe I could just use a little more black. So I'm just picking up little bits at a time because I don't want to make it too dark. And I think that's looking really good. So now I'm just going to clean out the brush in the water again. And I did this just to try to make it look a little more spooky in the background. So along the ground. So once my paint is wet, I've just totally pinched out my brush. And now I just take it and I just sort of sweep with my brush a little bit. Maybe try to lose that little harsh line. You can see how this just kind of helps to make it look a little misty. Just creates a little more fun into the ground. And I know I'm going to lose, you know, a lot of this where my limo sits, but just kind of playing around with it and having a little bit of fun. I just picked up a tiny little bit of black in my brush, maybe just a little bit more. Sweep that through. So I'm just having a nice soft touch. And honestly, like, get this on the best you can, but there's so much that's built up on top that if you don't get it looking, you know, if you just get your colors kind of streaked across the way that I did before I started this, that is totally fine too, because you lose so much of this. Just sometimes when you're creating a painting, you're sort of not exactly sure which way it's going to go, and you just start to play and see what happens. So there, I think it looks kind of nice and misty. And what I'll do next is I'll just kind of hold my canvas like a pizza and I'll paint the outside edges, and that just cleans them up. And then once this is dry, I will go in and transfer my guidelines on, and then we'll be ready to paint on Zoom. So I hope you've liked my little demo, and I look forward to seeing you on October 15th to paint my the Ghostmobile design. And again, my website is www.simply-cotton.com. Bye for now.